Hey, what is up everybody? My name is Nash.
My name is Liyana.
We met in 2014 when we were 19.
And got married in 2020.
We are personal trainers, fitness coaches, and gym owners.
And we're also athletes in the sport of weightlifting.
Welcome to 3 White Belts. Now we should be ready to angkat. Okay? Over this.
What do you mean?
Straighten dapat. Turn it over lah. Ini dapat pusing ni.
Hey guys, it's Wednesday. We didn't really get to do any kind of talking portion on the vlog for the past 2-3 days because we've been sort of figuring out what we want to do with our channel, what we want to do with 3 White Belts, that kind of thing. So we're checking in on a Wednesday to to talk about what we've been doing. In terms of training, it's deload week, so we're not very fussed about our numbers and things like that. Just moving light and moving well. So just telling you guys about what we do. We train 5 times a week, strictly weightlifting. And we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, break on Thursday, and then we continue on Friday, and then Saturday is usually classics. So classics is basically full snatches, full clean and jerks, and then accessories. While the other days are mostly complex stuff, hang stuff, squats, pulls, that kind of thing. Yep, pretty monotonous, but it gets the job done. So right now we're just finishing up our warm-up, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our deload Wednesday.
Please ignore my ugly stash here. Growing stash. Lockdown stash. Hey guys. So, just want to talk a little bit about what we usually do on our deload week. Our coach usually programs us the same, more or less the same movements, right? But at a lower percentage. So in this case, usually 70% of our maxes. It involves no less squats. So, but for me, as I'm addressing my quad tendonitis, I'm doing an old man squat with the chair over there. This is the jerk block. So if we both are squatting, I usually go inside, go to my room, the bathroom, with the jerk block rather than the squat stand. By the way, don't try this at home unless you know the sturdiness of your stool.
So Nash is using that stool there to do his box squats. So the goal is to try and stay above parallel, right? So it doesn't hurt his quads too much. But if you look at this, one slip and it could have easily just slipped away from under his butt. So guys, this is not necessarily something that I would recommend if you're doing box squats, especially on tiles. It's very slippery, and as you can see, this doesn't have any rubber.
I'm
just waiting for him to slip and fall.
I do not recommend you guys, I do not recommend anyone to try to do like box squats with household stool. So don't try that at home. But the reason why I'm doing box squats is because I'm trying to address my quad tendonitis. Mainly when my knees have been aching. Not necessarily like bad pain. It's just that a certain range of motion. Usually right after I hit depth, right after below parallel, my knees start to feel a bit of ache. Only during squatting, and then the next day you'll be like sore as hell. So it's been like that for the last month, I guess, since the lockdown started, and then we cannot meet our physio, obviously, because of lockdown and curfew.
All right, so this is how the gym looks like 5 days out of the week. It's when we're training, so both barbells are out, plates are out. Sometimes the squat rack is there, sometimes it's over here, depending on if we need it or not. And then through those sliding doors there is where we usually coach, or that's basically our office space. And then through that door there is where our jerk blocks are, or the bathroom. So, yep, just a quick overview of how it looks like. But just a quick update on our table that we brought down. If you've made it this far, you would have seen the footage of us trying to lug this table over here from upstairs to all the way down. So this is pretty much how our office looks like right now. It used to be just one table, but we figured one table is a little bit too small for the both of us. So we added another one there. So that's primarily my space. And then the other one is Nash's space. And then we found an old monitor that is now Nash's monitor because it can only connect to his nicely. So he uses that mainly to edit most of our videos. And this is a rower in the middle of nowhere. So we don't know where to put it yet, but we do use it for our warm-ups and things like that. So until then, it is here. Not permanently, I hope. Hey guys, a quick catch up. We've only just realized that we are only about less than 3 months away from the new year and we're pretty much getting used to the routine of staying at home, and we've already have established a routine of when we train, when we coach, when we work, and when we do any other stuff. Fridays are usually the most tiring day, I think, in terms, just in general, because I coach mostly on Fridays. So I've got a bit more sessions on Fridays, and then we also train on Fridays, and I end pretty late on Fridays as well. And it's also the 5th day of the week, so that's also probably why. But then again, we look forward to the weekend. Saturdays are designated days where we don't work, as in we don't coach or we don't do any main work related stuff. We do still train, but it has always been that way for maybe since before we got married. That's how it has always been. So working the way we do, both Nash and I, we don't work with a 9 to 5, we don't go to the office and that kind of thing. We've always been working for ourselves for the longest time. So Nash and I have been working since we were both in uni and college, eventually made this our full-time job, and that has always been how it was. So I guess when we first started off, we were pretty young. That very young energy, that enthusiasm. We thought we could push through working every day of the week, 24/7. It meant working from early in the morning, if we got early morning sessions, to late at night because we have classes, and just doesn't stop. And, we thought you work more, you work longer hours, you gain more. And that's just probably the young energy talking. But we eventually burnt out pretty quick. And burning out is not a good feeling. So we quickly realized, and we just talking to peers, talking to people with more experience, and talking to friends, we quickly realized that working for ourselves, working from home, working from the gym, meant that you don't really stop working if you don't give yourself that boundary, or you don't give yourself that off day or those off hours. So since, I think before we got married, or since the moment we got married, we sort of slowly established boundaries for ourselves in terms of work. So we've established that Saturdays are our strictly no work days, and as much as we can, we do not work, and we put aside that time for ourselves. So before lockdown, Saturdays are date days. So we sleep in a little bit later. If we wake up earlier, we go get brunch. I love brunch. If not, we go get lunch, which is what happens most of the weeks anyways. And then late afternoons, we go to the gym or come home to train. So that's usually our routine. If we got enough time, we plan for dinner and that sort of thing. So Saturdays are date days. But now, since it's lockdown, Saturdays are where we still sleep in, and the rest of the day we train, and then we watch a movie and just do things that are not work related. And it really helps having that boundary, or just setting that boundary between when am I working and when am I going to give myself a break. And this is for everybody out there, whether you're working for yourself, you're working 9 to 5, anybody at all, students, teachers, educators, whatever you work as, please give yourself a break. I know we are in a lockdown, most of us are staying at home. The stress is there. It's different, but it's there. So you gotta give yourself a break. You gotta, take some time for yourself, and we'll get through it together. And just to put it out there, I know a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people who are working for themselves, don't have a 9 to 5, and a lot of you would agree that when you work for yourself, you pretty much are working 24/7. That is why it's very important to set boundaries. We see quotes a lot on social media, and one of the quotes that we see a lot it goes something like, if you love what you do, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I would say that is not true. I love what I do. I love my clients. I love the fact that I believe in what I do now. I believe in the impact it has on people, impact it has on me, impact it will have on society. And I love the fact that I get to earn a living doing something I strongly believe in. But it also does not mean that work does not feel like work. Work will feel like work, it will not always feel like play, because when you play, when it's a hobby, there's nothing on the line for you. But when it's something that you do for a living, for me and well, for the both of us, it's our whole life. And we know that coming into this is our whole life, it's our way of how we make a living. So we have a lot on the line. The work will be tiring. There will be times when you feel like, am I enough? Do I know enough? Am I capable enough? But yeah, we'll always have a drive, but it will feel like work. It will not feel like play. That's why it's very important that we set ourselves boundaries and we find a routine that works for us. And I'm pretty sure my friends out there who share the same kind of working environment, self-employed peeps, know what I'm talking about. It is the end of Friday. It is 8-ish right now, and Nash is mostly doing the editing for our gym tour and Q&A video, which should be up by tomorrow. So there's a bit of gap between that video and this vlog that's gonna go up. So Nash is taking it really seriously now. He's learning a lot of stuff on how to edit videos. And yeah, I don't know if you can link videos on YouTube. I think you can. Yeah, I think you can link videos on YouTube. So we'll put it in the cards somewhere here. Yay! Okay, today is Saturday, the end of our deload week and pretty much the end of training. We train only up until Saturday, and Sundays are usually rest days for us. As we mentioned, this week is deload week, so deload week for us is a necessary step back from a few weeks to several weeks of just grind, and then building up to a really heavy week where we find our maxes, basically going for heavy percentages. Deload isn't really chill or isn't super relaxing, or you can just like do whatever you want, not be in it. I think out of all the weeks, deload is where you really nail down the technique, really nail down things that you usually cannot think about or be mentally there for on heavier days, I think.
I completely agree on that. Deload week is basically for me just a little more time to practice on polishing techniques because the weight is not so heavy. Well, it's kind of heavy, 70%, but I think it's a great range of percentage to kind of like step back and see what you are missing at because of all the heavy weeks. You know how you do a lot of heavy weeks and then you tend to like miss out on a cue or miss out on a part of a lift. So that's actually really good for us in general, and also just really good for my knees.
Yeah.
Because I've been suffering from some quad tendonitis. So this whole week I totally avoided squats. I only did like box squats, just trying to stay above parallel. And I think it's something that a lot of people should take note, regardless of what training they do, what sport they do. You gotta take the deload week as serious as the other weeks.
And I think on the subject of injuries or anything that's, niggling pain or any kind of pain that you might experience if you play a sport, if you train a lot, if you work out a lot, this is something that is very common. People would say, I injured this, I injured that, this one feels a little bit painful and that sort of thing. And that's something that you should be expecting already. If you train 5 times a week, you're putting loads on your body, you can expect that something might be painful, and you want to take that pain and that knowledge that, okay, that acknowledgement that, okay, something is painful, so something might be causing it. It's a great way to know your body better, find out what's causing it, get to the root cause, and then address it from there. Things like rehab, things like paying more attention to places where you usually get injured or is usually painful is very, very important, especially if you're looking to play a certain sport for a longer period of time and staying really healthy. That's very important. So always acknowledge if you have an injury and do not train through your injury. You can always train around it and then address it, but do not completely ignore it and just push through the pain like no pain, no gain. It's not going to get you anywhere. Another thing that we also want to talk about is we have never really, I suppose, spoken that much about what our goal is with our weightlifting training. If you've seen several posts about Fitnes that happened in July, early July, that was basically our first meet and first time stepping on the platform after getting a coach and getting a weightlifting coach. We have been under a weightlifting program, but we never really were trained or training. We were never really training under a coach, like a one-on-one basis, addressing our weaknesses and things like that. A few months prior to the meet in FitFest, we decided to hire a weightlifting coach.
Yeah, we have always, well, I have always wanted to train under a weightlifting coach. I think it was around last year when we started to take weightlifting seriously. It's one of those I wish I would have started way earlier, but are not able to or are not afford to. But now that I can afford to, we choose a coach, and then it has been the best decision we've made in our lifting career so far. I think it's also important that us as coaches should have a coach, because there's always this tendency of people thinking that, oh, if you're a coach, you usually train by yourself, and then you don't need others' guidance. And I think I have lived in that mindset for so long that I think that I don't need help, but actually even coaches needs coach. We need someone to give us an accountability, and whatever we are being coached about, usually you can use it to your own clients or athletes as well. So it will definitely benefit you in any way. Even though you're not a coach, it will benefit you still in your sport.
Yeah, and I think learning is, as we all know, is a lifelong process. So just because you started educating people, just because you started teaching people, does not mean that your learning stops. If ever, it continues, and it's even more important that it continues when you are educating other people. So as coaches, we really do believe that having a coach of our own is important. And as of right now, we are being coached in weightlifting. And also, the reason why we decided to invest in getting a coach is because I think starting off probably like last year, we've sort of diverted away from CrossFit as our main training into weightlifting. Nowadays, we touch a bar 5 times a week, and that's pretty much all we do. And when it comes to weightlifting training, it's not as, the variety isn't as much as CrossFit. So all you pretty much do is lift. And everything that you do, whether that's accessories, whether that's strength work, is all to get just 2 lifts down. 2 lifts, 6 minutes on stage in the sport, as perfect as it can be at that moment. So it's very monotonous. It's something that at most of the time, it's all about pure grind, pure discipline, just to get yourself on that platform, get yourself warmed, and then get through your sets as best as you can.
I don't know if people know this, but Brunei just reinstated the membership in the International Weightlifting Federation. We are hoping to compete under Brunei and then represent the country in some international competitions. Hopefully we can make it to Paris Olympics 2024, that's the goal. But we all know that it's not an easy feat. There are certain qualifications we need to go through, and yeah.
I think the goal and the dream to eventually get to Paris 2024 became even stronger when the both of us, along with 3 other friends, created Fitnes. That is pretty much our baby. Creating Fitnes was a hard task for all of us, but we all came together. It became a big reality, and if ever it fueled the fire in all 5 of us, and hopefully, it fueled a lot of people's fire as well in terms of training, in terms of being athletes, in terms of just growing the fitness industry in Brunei, which is something I know we can. And like Nash said, yes, the federation, the National Federation of Weightlifting, just got reinstated, and we are now under them. And we are hoping to wave the flag of Brunei and hopefully be among one of those who will be the first to represent Brunei in weightlifting, because I do know that this country has a lot of potential when it comes to weightlifting, similar to other sports. We do know that it is something that's hard, especially in this lockdown. So we're still trying to find a way to how can we get there, how people can help and that sort of thing. But otherwise, because we're in this lockdown right now, all we really can do is train as much as we can. And I think it's also really important that we address what our goal is, because I was just telling Nash that it would be really hard to continue training the way we do without realizing what our goal is. And obviously the goal is to get to places like the SEA Games and eventually the Olympics in 3 years. That's in 2024. We will both be 29. That could be our last chance to fight for it. But then again, we'll see. We'll probably still be lifting at about over 30. We'll see. But that is the